one thing that physics and spirituality agree on is that it's all energy. Everything that you see around you is made up of energy. And that's really fascinating because energy has got a dualistic nature. It's got two properties primarily. And of course, in spirituality, we talk about it being a dualistic universe. But the duality of energy is that it can both be a wave in the way that it travels about. Hopefully that looks a little bit wave-like. If it doesn't look sufficiently wave-like, think of the ocean. Or energy can be a particle. Now, even in physics itself, it says that you can think about energy as either a wave or a particle, depending on what works in the situation. And right now, we need to think about it as a wave so we can get rid of our particle. So with a wave, one of the properties about a wave is that it's actually what makes us experience life as everything travelling in cycles. I mean, cycles are one of the patterns that are really strong in nature. We see it obviously every day, from sun up to sun down. We see it in the seasons, but we experience it in life as well. And there is a very strong connection between energy being a wave and us experiencing cycles, because with a wave, one point on the wave, one, if you like, little particle that the wave is travelling through, actually will, as the wave passes, it will pretty much trace out a kind of a cycle called an ellipse, which is basically just a circle that's a bit squashed. Here, let me show you what I mean. Okay, so our wave is this cardboard cutout that I made earlier. You can see it's a little bit irregular, but it'll do hopefully for the demonstration of what happens to our particle as a wave goes by. So for our particle, we're just going to have a little dot here. If you're trying this experiment in the bath, any particle can do, any light thing that floats on the water, like a ping pong ball, or don't try it with one of those floating candles, though. You'll it's probably not safe. Anyway, so as the wave passes, I try to drag our waveform past here. Hang on, sorry, get this lined up. So what actually happens is the wave obviously is subsequently lifting and dropping our particle. Obviously it's not going to normally be as messy as this, because it normally doesn't start and stop like I'm doing. And it's a bit messy. And hopefully you can see there that you've got this kind of trajectory, or this kind of path being traced out, which is an ellipse. So obviously, if things weren't so rough and ready, if I had a proper wave generator rather than just me pulling a piece of cardboard along, you'd be able to see that, you know, this is the kind of path that a particle traces out as a wave passes by. So, everything is made of energy. Energy travels in waves. Waves create cycles. It's actually how we complete that cycle that's really important, because that determines a lot about how difficult or easy our life can be. So there's essentially three ways that we can complete a cycle. The first way is actually what makes life very difficult, because actually there we're not completing it, we're leaving the cycle incomplete. That's a little bit like when the wave dumps you on the ocean and you get stuck down under the water and it's very hard to get back to the air. That of course is a difficult state to be in, but that's what it's like when we don't complete a cycle. Now, we don't complete cycles in our own lives primarily by going into denial or avoidance, so just basically not being present with what is going on. And what that does is it tends to get us stuck and drain us of our energy. So we don't really want to do that. So the second way is we can complete the cycle. We can be fully present with it, we can acknowledge it, we can accept what's going on. Now that's a much better way, because it gives us energy. and we do then just keep coming back to that same cycle, as what will happen with a standing wave, that circle like I just showed you. Now, with the third way though, that's where things really start to become exciting, because then the cycles, they don't just keep coming back to the same point, but the cycles actually start to become more expansive. It's a little bit more like a spiral than a circle, if you like. Now, how does this happen? This happens when we don't just have a standing wave, but there's actually a current, so that like out on the ocean, things do keep coming back to the same point, but actually they move along because there is a current under the ocean. So that current actually, though, it always has this positive focus. In other words, it's just going where it's going. So let me explain. So the way that we create expansive cycles is by having a positive picture of where we want to go. Like, we don't try to get to Paris by not going to London or not going to New York. We get to Paris by going to Paris. It's the same thing in your mind. Let me show you what I mean. So this is really important. Whatever you do not think of a pink elephant. Right, now, did you think of a pink elephant? Because chances are you did. And if you didn't, it's probably because you thought of something else really quickly, like a purple giraffe or a blue seal or something. Because that's how your mind works. It always needs some positive anchor to hold on to. And so you want to make sure that that anchor that it's holding on to is actually of this more expansive, more joyful, more fulfilling life. So when we have that positive focus, we can make sure that our cycles, they're going to happen. We don't really get a choice about that. But we can choose where in our lives they're helping us expand. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about this, you might want to read the blog that goes along with this little video, and the link to that will appear. So